So today I am covering a few short topics. One of them is that in Rabbi Shimon Polter talks about the tribe's judges. So these are the judges. Is it Rabbi Shimon Polter? Maybe it's Rabbi Moshe Polter. I honestly don't remember now. Anyway, so these are the judges of each of the tribes. So in the tribe of Reuben, Shimon, Gad, and Asher, there was no judges recorded. In the tribe of Levi, there was Eli the priest. He was the 14th. Remember, the judges came after Joshua, after Moses, after others, right? So he was the 14th. He lived from 2832 to 2872. And Shmuel the prophet, he was the 15th judge. That's 2872, 288 till 2882. I'm so sorry, this is not the years they lived, this is the years they were the judge. I'm like, so let's start from the beginning actually. Yehuda, number one. Yehuda was, from the tribe of Yehuda, you have Asniel son of Kenaz. He was the first judge. He was judged from 2516 to 2556. And then we have, second here. From Binyamin, we have, Ehud, son of Gera, 2556 to 2636. I don't have a third here, so I'm going to go to the fourth. I guess third and fourth are together. Barak and Devorah, Barak son of Abinoam, and Devorah the prophetess from the tribe of Naphtali from the year 2636 till 2676. Then we have Gideon son of Joash, who was from Menashe's tribe, from 2683 till 2723. And then we have also from Menashe's tribe, Abimelech son of Gideon, 2723 to 2726. I don't have, here I found it. From the tribe of Yisachar, we have Tola son of Pua, the seventh judge, 2726 to 2749. The eighth judge was Yair the Gileadite, 2748 to 2770 from the tribe of Menashe, and also from the tribe of Menashe. The ninth judge was Yiftach the Gileadite for the years 2782 to 2788. The 10th judge was Ibzan, also from the tribe of Yehuda, 2788 to 2795. The 11th judge was from the tribe of Zvulun. His name was Elon, 2795 to 2805. The 12th judge was from the tribe of Ephraim, Avdon the Parasanite, 2805 to 2812. The 13th judge was in the tribe of Dan, Shimshon, Samson, son of Manoach, 2812 to 2812 to 2832. The 14th judge was from the tribe of Levi. We covered that for a moment earlier. Eli, the priest, 2832 to 2872, and the 15th judge was Shmuel the prophet, 2872 to 2882, also from the tribe of Levi. I think that goes for all of them. And I want to talk now from Quantum Torah by Alexander Polterak. That's his website. He talks about how we have parallel universes that can merge with interference. So multiple universes at every moment, or whenever you want to say there's an iteration of time, can branch after something irreversible happens. When you go down left or right path, you go down the right, now you have a branched reality. The left path would have given a different reality. So they now become like parallel universes, and so the judges were people who judged. There was witnesses. You hear some of them were even a priest or a prophet, right? The Devorah the prophetess. So there's a few points why I'm bringing this up here from Alexander Polterak, which is that in the idea of judging in the Jewish tradition, for example, if a Jew says with witnesses, the witnesses have to say that they saw the new moon, that establishes that there's a new moon. And a lot of things are based on that. When the holidays are, whether it's the holiday of the Rosh Chodesh, if it is a new month, the dates, right? And there's two types of witnesses. There's establishing witnesses that establish it, Edom Kiyum, and there's clarifying witnesses which clarify the matter, Edom Bir. So learning the knowledge of the priest who claims whether it's Tuma, which is the absence of Tara, or Tara is to learn reality. So in a way, the priest would judge before, right? So the priest has its role, and the judge is not a priest. The priest would judge whether it's pure or impure, not a judge. And when we study the laws of nature, the state of nature, it's called ontology. The study of the state of knowledge is called epistemology. And there's different things that are merging. So there's the study of, and a lot of times they were said that the judges had to know multiple languages, had to know multiple cultures. They had to be able to walk in the shoes of the person they were judging. I want to share also from Nir Manusi. So he talks about how like the teacher is like the rich one, the giver, the knower. The student is like the poor one, provoking more knowledge and offerings by receiving. Almost like by sucking out from the teacher receives more. So it's constantly like comparing or competing to be better. And the small-mindedness like is more shiny. Basically, this idea that it's more shiny when it's contrasted. Like, so the small mind, which is not very bright, use the word bright, is less shiny. Like the true brightness, the true greatness is really, when it's contrasted with a small mind, is much more shiny, right? It's much more bright. So Hashem brings light to both of the eyes, of the wicked one and the wise one, or the foolish one and the smart one, when they come together to learn Torah. Bigger and smaller here means both are of value for the other. Both benefit and are nurtured through having the fellow to transact with. This is actually what it says about learning Torah. And I had a conversation with someone about trust, which is what will be our final topic today. So his name was Gregory. I don't really talk to him anymore at all because he made comments against Israel, against Jewish people, very stupid comments, also because he claims his mother's Jewish. So I don't know where he's at. Let him figure it out for himself. So basically, machines and us, this is what we came up with, like in our exploration, and we used a lot of like different areas of where we're learning from. So basically, machines and us have a symbiotic power relationship, with us being their power givers, a creative. You can see how this flows from what I learned from Nir Manusi. So with us being their power givers, a creating source that's reliable, life does take precedent and have a much higher value of understanding. We have wisdom, but there's a synergy, a collaboration where the not taking anything for granted, preparing by the portion for all consumption. Everybody wins because we respect the resources and the fuel and the granting. It's granting, not taking it for granting. In other words, not taking it for granted is granting. So we are the wire from heaven to earth through which the Holy Spirit can come through securely. The ideal masculine, divine meditating, and ideal feminine, divine dancing movement. So this idea that like the current moving around is like the feminine, and the man can contain. It's like, even though the woman gives birth to the baby, the man originally contains the feminine. He has to recognize her on the outside as she moves in the world. Originally he was able to be like stable. So, but thinking about now, not divining the masculine and the feminine, we don't mean, when we're saying this, we don't mean only men and women. We mean on the inside, the part that's like kind of fluttering around versus the part that's the core element, right? We think of like the wire we just mentioned, the energy flowing is often referred to as the Shekhinah, the indwelling divine presence coming in from above, right? Versus God that never changed. So we have these fixtures and these constructs to work with. But let's talk about in our relationship with others, displacing others actually stops our development because everyone has value. It is unhealthy. It's a trauma state, which is where we self-numb, we self-inflict anesthesia, whether it's medication or calories or whatever, because there's too strong emotions which are not in circuitry, or they feel completely inexpressible to the experiencer. This leads to what is called crimes against humanity, but not here like in a wartime where somebody's raping and killing, but in subtle ways, not honoring the human life versus like what is money or the products or the cleanness, or just basically something that you could like put into a label or a category or name it. Humanity, it's like saying that I want robots to make the food to save money rather than pay people to work there, but then who's going to buy the food if no one has a job, right? So logic is preceded by understanding. So the artificial intelligence has intelligence, which could be called a logic, and then there's the level of all humans, which is understanding, which they are trying to teach they're trying to teach understanding so that it could learn how to do things that you want it to do, and it could learn on its own, which is preceded by wisdom. So wisdom is this like element that seems to be impossible to teach to a robot. It seems to be a feature of humanity because we were made in the image of God. That's just a side note to think of it. So the defense for a fractured identity now, because what if somebody has allowed this crime against humanity system to infiltrate? They now have a fractured identity. Let's talk about fracture. Fracture is when it's not soft, it's not yielding, it breaks. However, soft areas becoming hard, or isolation, shame, cut off from the core, can cause psychological issues that can be self-destructive or lashing out. Lashing out means there's a shard that's sharp, right? Self-destructive means there's a shard that's sharp going in or out. So let's talk about the fractured identity, where someone might think that they're only good for what they produce, or they're cut off from their wisdom, or they are in the trauma state, or they don't think everyone has value, or they take things for granted, or they would rather get a manicure, pedicure by somebody they can abuse than get along with the person. So controlling, confused about who or what one is, cut off from the core, going to parts extremes that had been discouraged or prevented from completion in the past. You might see somebody who is like repressed, suddenly having a huge temper and what they call going postal, right? But also not being able to release more or move through hopelessness, despair, fear, powerlessness, or discouragement. It is unsafe. It wants to be the mind reader, to stay a step ahead and never be caught suddenly or off guard. So it's overly prepared, or it also doesn't want to be dislocated. It gets stuck in the shadows and doesn't want to lose the attachment to the person, place, or thing that feels like my way, like whatever my way is. And so we'll stop here and we'll recognize this is all part of different realities that are possible, and to understand that it's not so bad to have a judge. In other words, if you can have somebody who could help clarify for you or help establish something for you, who do you have as your judge? Like, who do you trust to help you judge properly, to help you judge whether you're committing crimes against humanity? That's why in the Jewish culture we call it a mashpia, to have somebody who is the giver, like Nir Manusi talked about, the one who could be our teacher, who could teach us to have proper judgment and to connect with our core and our core values. And it could be a therapist. If you're extremely honest with the therapist and you find an equipped, healthy therapist, it's a lot about getting in touch with the deep truth that's always been there and just needs to be like realigned, like when the paths merge again, right? Like remember we first started with this, or not first started, but we're talking about they can merge when there's like interference, so they both become one again because they're not separated parallels anymore. They somehow something from the other reality, something from this reality, the idea that now they've become entangled. I wish you all the best. Bye.